Let's talk then about sleep. I did promise you, didn't you, about how you can go about getting a good night's sleep. If you're struggling, we're just about to catch up with Dr Lindsay Browning. Now, the reason why I wanted to speak with Lindsay is I saw this study which was being reported about, which essentially said that if you don't have enough sleep, then you're at increased risk of depression. But also, if you have excessive sleep, that could be linked to levels of happiness. So I wonder which of this is true in your opinion, Lindsay. Do we know that having not enough sleep can really influence your mood? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, if you get too little sleep or too much sleep, both of them are associated with increased risk of depression and anxiety. And people who are depressed, they tend to either sleep a lot more than people who are not depressed or have insomnia and have difficulty with their sleep.
Goodness me. So it's hard. First of all, we've got to establish what is like the correct amount of sleep. So how do you know if you're getting enough?
Well, the recommendations are that for a working age adult, we should be getting somewhere between sort of 7 to 9 hours every night. But that doesn't mean that 8 hours is the right number. And lots of people think, we should be getting 8 hours. But that's like saying that we're not all the same height. You know, some people need nearer 7 hours, some people need nearer 9. So if you're getting somewhere between 7 to 9 and you're feeling refreshed and you're feeling good during the day, that's probably enough for you, whether that is 7 or 9 or somewhere in between.
If you know that you're not getting enough sleep, i.e. you're waking up tired, struggling through the day, you might be very aware of the fact you haven't got energy, but how else can it affect you?
It affects all sorts of aspects of our life. I mean, sleep, getting a good night's sleep is one of the best things that you can do. If you're entering January thinking, I really want to improve my health, focusing on your sleep is a fantastic way to start, because if you improve your sleep, if you get a good quality sleep, you're going to reduce your risk of heart attacks, of dementia, of stroke, of obesity, of diabetes. The list goes on, as well as being more able to cope with day-to-day stresses of life, boosting your immune system, and importantly, like with depression and anxiety, you're much more likely to be happy and not anxious if you're getting the right amount of good quality sleep.
Let's talk about the perfect sleep environment then. If you're wanting to make sure that you're sleeping, getting to sleep quicker, staying asleep for longer, what should you be doing?
Well, the first thing I would say is giving yourself enough time to sleep, because the number one reason that people, aren't getting enough sleep is just because life gets in the way. We're staying up too late, finishing those last minute jobs around the kitchen or that last email. And before you know it, you're not going to bed till midnight. You have to be up at 6. Well, of course, how are you going to get 7 to 9 hours sleep if you're only in bed for 6 hours? So prioritize your sleep, carve that bit out, and then giving yourself some time to wind down before bed is important. It's not a waste of time. If you're going to bed full of stress and anxiety, it's going to be really hard to switch off that really busy, active mind. So spend a bit of time before bed doing something that you find relaxing, maybe read a book, maybe do some yoga, whatever it is that you find helpful to switch off. That's going to help you get into a nicer frame of mind, feeling calm, feeling relaxed, and then sleep should be a lot easier.
What's your opinion on late night workouts? I'm asking really for myself here, because sometimes it's really hard to fit it in, frankly, till right at the end of the day. Is that a good thing or not?
Well, it depends on individual tendencies. So as a sort of blanket general rule, doing some high intensity exercise right before bed potentially isn't great for you, because it's going to increase your heart rate, increase your temperature, and make you really on. However, doing exercise is far more important than not. So if the only time you can do exercise is 10:30 at night, once the kids are in bed and you've finished all that stuff, then do it, because doing some exercise is going to improve, again, your physical health, your mental health. And if it takes you an extra quarter of an hour, 20 minutes just to calm down and cool down after that bit of exercise, that's probably a sacrifice worth making. But for some people, especially really healthy, really fit people, they can exercise really close to bedtime and it won't interfere with them, because they're just simply so active and so fit and so able to cool down really quickly after that workout.
We should talk technology because, for a lot of people, and I include myself in this, scrolling on your phone just before bed is just something that you do. Is that going to affect my sleep in any kind of way?
So there was a lot of talk about blue light being like the enemy for sleep. And actually the blue light that your phones produce is maybe not nearly as damaging as was previously thought, but the bright light from a device, any device, is going to impact your sleep a little bit. But the biggest danger of all isn't being on your phone just before bed, it's the fact that you're going to forget to go to bed. You get into bed, you meant to go to sleep, but before you know it, you've been scrolling through TikTok for an hour and you literally haven't got enough time to sleep and get the right amount of sleep. So the biggest danger of using your phone right before bed is that you're going to forget to go to bed. That's the biggest problem.
This sounds like an odd question, but then can you have too much sleep? And if you can, what effect does that have on your body?
Mm-hmm. So again, the recommendations of 7 to 9 hours are because that's kind of the Goldilocks zone. If you're finding that you're sleeping for 10 hours every night, 11, especially if you're still feeling tired, that's potentially a sign that the sleep you're getting isn't good quality. Maybe you have something called like sleep apnea, when you have a difficulty with breathing during the night, which can mean that you sleep excessively, but it's really bad quality sleep. Or going back to mood, people with depression can often sleep for a lot longer for a number of factors. Maybe they are escaping some of the stresses and sadness of everyday life, and when you're asleep, you're not facing those problems. And also, if you're not getting out and about during the day, you're not going outside to see sunshine, you're not doing activities, you're not seeing people, that can result in sort of profound fatigue and feeling tired throughout the day. So excessive sleep can be difficult and damaging, as well as not enough sleep.
We've had so many great tips there. Lindsay, I really appreciate you dropping in. Dr Lindsay Browning there is a sleep expert, and you can find out a little bit more about actually what Lindsay does online. Head to troublesleeping.co.uk. So there you have it. You can sleep too much, and I love that phrase that Lindsay used about the Goldilocks zone. I would say for me, it is nearer the 7 hours. I don't seem to need as much sleep. If I sleep too much, I feel sluggish. Do you know what I mean? So I think 7 hours, that works for me.